Happy to. Sorry about the wait. I have not been feeling great, but I'm going to go through the entire cleanse process here. It's multiple cleanses. It's not just one thing that I do, so it's going to be a longer video. Bear with me, but it is a really, really good tool to have in your toolkit. So before anything, I will take a detoxing cleansing bath, and I do this every week, period. It's a spiritual bath. So what I do for this, I have about a cup of bentonite clay. I like to use this particular brand. It works well for me. I'll also put in Himalayan salt. A lot of times I use food salt, but I just found these, which is like a whole lot cheaper for me to use, and it works well. I always put in Epsom salt as well. Sometimes I do it with chamomile, and about a cup of this as well. So the basic detox baths would be a cup of the bentonite clay, a cup of the vinegar, a cup of the Epsom salt, and a cup of the baking soda. It works really well for detoxing. You'll see, even if you go in there clean, you'll see it gray when you come out. And then I always choose flowers and herbs for what I'm detoxing from. So the one that I had shown before, I had used a lot of chamomile, and I had used rosemary because those are like very strong masculine energies. This one I'm going to be cleansing some toxic feminine energies, so I used rose, lavender, things that have more feminine energies. I always, always, always have rocks in there, and I usually have the water saturating to all 9 solfeggios at once, but you can choose any of them. 714 is really, really good for spiritual healing. But this is a lithium ion quartz. This is just plain amethyst, but look how pretty she is. And this one is rose quartz. You can use whatever stones correspond to your intentions. These are just the ones that I use. I let the water charge for at least half an hour, and I'm usually in there for about an hour. And any of the filth that I wash off me, I dedicate to my favorite deities. Usually I give it off to Lilith. So now to the second part of the cleansing. This is like super old school brujeria, but this is when I do my egg cleansing. The first thing that I do, because when you do an egg cleanse, you want to make sure your egg is at room temperature. I like to wash things away constantly when I'm doing my egg cleanses. So I usually have it in this little oyster shell. It was like leftover from oysters one day with some friends. I was like, I want all the shells! So I kept them, and most of them, it turned into witchy things, and this one is mine. So you also want to have your egg saturating in whatever intention it is that you want. And then you'll do the cleanse. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. There's a ton of examples on TikTok. Next clip is going to be like a little example of how I do it, because I am like completely butt-ass naked when I do my cleanses, and I can't get away with that on TikTok. Hey, maybe I can start an OnlyFans with that, but I'm definitely not doing it on TikTok, so I am going to show you in the most modest way humanly possible the next part. Okay, so now we have a room temperature egg, right? A lot of times people do egg cleanses just like, and they just like pass it over. That ain't right. You want to do circles until you start feeling the energy pull. I always use my right hand because that's the pulling side, and I always do, like, it might be look reversed here because it's camera and it's upside down, but I always do towards the left, you know, for lefty-loosey circles to loosen up that energy. And you do this on your entire self, your entire being, like everything. Get the bottoms of your feet, get your booty crack. Ladies, lift up your tatas, get under there. Boys, lift up your testes, get under there too. Like, get all of you. Now, if you want to read the cleanse afterwards, which I highly recommend doing, while you're doing that, have a cup of water out, just plain water, it can be tap water, whatever, and let it start getting room temperature. That's when you're going to crack it in there. A lot of people say, like, wait an hour after the cleanse to do it. As long as the egg is room temperature, it really doesn't matter that much, I've found. I usually crack it in there pretty much right afterwards, although I'll look at the stages of it settling, so maybe that's why, because they want to see it settled already. I'm good with watching the chaos, honestly. And then once you have it in that glass, do not look directly down at it from the top of the glass. Look through the glass at it, or you're going to reabsorb everything. And then when you're ready to dump it in the toilet or somewhere that you can flush. If you have a septic system, I would actually dump it like somewhere outside, maybe like a crossroads or something where it's going to get driven over a lot, but you're going to want that energy to keep moving as far away from you as possible, which is why if you have a septic system, you don't want to do it, because it's not going to keep moving. It's just going to stay in your tank till you get your tank pumped, like if you're in an area where you need to get your tank pumped. If any other questions, let me know. I'm finally feeling like well enough to do TikToks again, so happy to answer them.